Hello everyone, I'm Julie Heinrich, the Marketing and New Business Development Manager at CTSI, back with you on another Tuesday for our YouTube series, All About It, or All About IT. So really however you want to look at it. So last month I had Michael Vaught, our Chief Revenue Officer and one of the owners at CTSI here with me to talk about his view of the IT industry and just, get some ideas on his experience and just things that he's seen. So this month I have with me Chris Hook. He is a longtime CTSI friend, and so I wanted to get your feedback as well as far as what you're seeing day to day, why IT is important, and all of that. So welcome, Chris, to the series.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me, Julie.
Absolutely. So can you tell me a little bit more about what you do and just a little bit about your background?
Yeah, so currently I'm the controller for Xylam Incorporated, so it's a local manufacturing plant here in Lubbock. Been doing that for about 8 months. Graduate of Texas Tech, graduated from there, was in the public accounting sector for about 6 years, and then was most recently in the nonprofit sector with United Way, where I worked real closely with CTSI and the staff there. So, and then I'm doing my current role now. So,
very nice. So Texas Tech, Red
yes,
Raider,
that's
love
right.
it, love it. I knew that's why we were friends. One of the reasons. So as a controller, tell me a little bit about your day to day. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, obviously, running the financial aspect of the site here, the plant here in Lubbock, and so making sure that we're financially well and doing well as far as what we're doing. But as far as a day to day, it's first thing I do in the morning is check emails and go through that, and then I probably have 2 or 3 Zoom calls that I'm on that I do, and then run through our accounting system that has obviously our financials in that I go through on a daily and weekly basis, all of which that I couldn't do without some type of internet or IT technology. So I think as part of my day-to-day and everyday, technology is pretty important to what I do. So
yeah. I think honestly, I think that's the way it is for everybody now. Mm-hmm. It's definitely one of those things where I don't feel like I can even do my job, and I'm not just saying that because I work for a technology company, but I really don't think I can do my job without it. And so thank you for highlighting the importance of it for day to day. But so what would you say from your standpoint? I know that there's businesses out there that are a little bit sometimes hesitant or slow to adopt certain technology. Why would you think that is? Or
for me, I think the biggest thing is cost, right? I think, especially with me coming from a nonprofit background, and then also even in the corporate world, right? Cost is always looked at as kind of a barrier to entry in certain technology, right? Mm-hmm. And I've always looked at it, even currently, as there may be, a big cost associated with some IT purchase, whether it be a phone system, whether it be TVs or things like that. But I was looking to the efficiencies of also what that's creating, right? Where is there time savings? Where is there other efficiencies created within somebody's role? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of always, even, with the United Way being the CFO over there, how I looked at technology, right? And so especially on a nonprofit level, budget and finance is a big thing, right? So you can't just go, go spend money, and kind of, you've got to really look at, the benefits of what you're doing, right? And so, especially at the technology side, it can be expensive, right? Mm-hmm. At times it can be hard to kind of look at that and go in, but I think from that level, it's also, how are we making our staff more efficient, right? Can I build the staff to be more efficient? And so we're saving money in that side. We may be purchasing this equipment, whatever it may be, but how am I making my staff more efficient? And so I think that's the biggest thing that I try to look at and still continue to try to look at is not necessarily, yes, the cost is a factor, but how do I build that cost to make efficiencies out of it, right? And so that's really one of the things that I like to think about too, and as I go into projects, is really highlight those efficiencies, because that's what people are looking at, right? Is how can we make the business more efficient? So
absolutely, I love that. There's definitely more to it than just the number that you see. It's really, what is it going to do for your business? How is it going to benefit it? And obviously, it has to make sense.
Definitely.
Absolutely. I love that viewpoint.
Yeah.
And then another thing that we kind of think about and kind of try to emphasize too is like, when you think about it from like a downtime standpoint, is how much is that costing you from if you can't operate and can't do the things that you need to do. And so it's good to hear from another another person as well that there's other things to think about when it comes to implementing technology. So for you, from not necessarily you've worked with us and you've kind of been around some of the technology, but as someone in a business organization, what would you say is worrisome to you from just going in IT or cybersecurity or their...
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, it's currently it's supply chain issues, right? And that affects, as far as our business, right? If we have issues with any kind of material or things, that could really affect our business. Cybersecurity is a big thing too, just because of our customers, depend on us and have faith in us when they order from us, right? That their information, whatever that may be, is not going to get out, right? So we have an obligation as a corporation to really protect our customers, right? And so I think that's a big deal. I think it's also scary as a business too as well, because you got to think about that. Not necessarily protecting your business. We want to do that too as well, but we got to protect the people that are coming into our business, right? That are using us as for whether it be a service or ordering from us. We got to protect their information too. And I think that's kind of, the big picture of sometimes what people don't look at is obviously protecting the business is everybody's first priority, right? And I think we all have that mindset, but also thinking of protecting the people that are coming into your business, right? That are ordering from you, your customers, even your vendors, right? That are that you're ordering from and things like that. So I think that's a big aspect, and it's also, I think, scary as a business to feel like you have to kind of take on that, and protecting the whole and not just your business and not yourself, right? And so I think that's a big part of what we as a business try to manage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And that's a really good point, because there's so many, like you said, it's not just the business itself, it's all the other aspects to it, all the other organizations that you do business with. And, that's a lot of times what we see is maybe like the business itself isn't the one that is attacked. It's somebody that you do business with.
Yep.
And so that's kind of scary too. So yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah. Hopefully it didn't scare you too much or anything. No. Or I'm not trying to scare my audience either. Definitely don't try to scare people, but we do like you to be aware. So, when you were at United Way, when did you first engage with CTSI? Was there something that happened or something that kind of drove that, or was it just we just want to be efficient? Or
yeah, I mean, so for me, it was obviously efficiency was a big thing, and we coming into that role, we already been working with United Way, so it was a relationship that had been established, right? But one of the things that I can highlight, I think of 2020, right? COVID. Obviously for us, we weren't really prepared for, being out of the office and not being able to communicate with staff outside of the office, right? And so, I think of that probably being the biggest time where y'all CTSI came in and helped us with, with the phone system, right? That we were able to communicate with others that weren't in our office. To me, thinking back, I don't know how we would have managed without that, right? Because the phone system and our communication that we had before, we wouldn't have been able to do business, right, and continue to do business. So that really, March or April really allowed us to kind of continue to be remote and still be able to answer phones, to have calls, Zoom calls and things like that with our staff members, right, and still have that daily communication. So I think that was really, the big kind of moment for us where that was a big deal for us to be able to kind of transition to, a new VoIP, a new system like that to be able to keep the business running, right? And to have, especially in that time, right? Nonprofit was, really kind of what people looked for help. And so for us to have been down and not being able to work at that time would really hurt the community, right? And so looking at it from that aspect, I think that's where y'all came in and really helped us really continue to do business.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think I remember too, actually. I think you y'all were doing a video demo, and I think y'all called me, actually.
Yes.
Okay.
We did, yes.
So that was really cool to see. I remember that. So, besides, I guess, that, were there other things, day to day, once we got through COVID or even before, but that working with CTSI really helped your business? And
yeah, I mean, I think for me, it was always having that constant communication too, right? Like, because like I said, budget is a big thing for us.
Yeah.
But, having those expenses, talking about that and being able to work with the team and working with CTSI on a lot of those things, we'd have conversations on, hey, you've got to do this in the next 8 months. So being able to plan and kind of work with that, I think was great for our ability to kind of grow our technology, but also on a budget that we could afford to, right? And so I think the relationship that I had with CTSI as a business really helped me grow the technology aspect of our nonprofit, but also do it, on a budget that we could maintain.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so what, in your opinion, is important for having an IT partner in your business? Or for any organization, really?
I think for any organization, it's crucial, right? Again, going to planning out your technology, right? Making sure your equipment is not outdated, right? Because that's also important. You could have the equipment, but if it's 10 years old, then it's not doing your business any good, right?
Right.
So I think for me, it's vital to just the success of a business, any business, whether you have a small business or, go into a large corporation. Being in tune with the technology and what's going on in your business, I think, is important, just from one, a budget standpoint, is how much money are we spending, how much can we spend, and then how can we better make our staff and our employees more efficient in what we're doing. But making sure that the equipment and the technology that we have is up to date, right? Because I think that's important too, and making sure that we have equipment and technology that can keep up with our pace of work in our environment. So.
Very good point, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, is there anything else you would like to add? Or I don't want it to feel like I'm being like a CTSI commercial here, but is there any other words of wisdom that you have for anybody either considering, talking to an IT partner or a company like ours, or just...
Yeah, I mean, just from my perspective, definitely if you're a small business, I think that's where it can be harder sometimes, but just always, be in tune with your technology, right? Make that expense a priority, I would say, because it can impact your business and what you do, right? So it also can impact it in a good way and a bad way. So I would always kind of advise that get some kind of technology consultant that you can kind of deal with and afford, right? And get that as well. But I think it's important to a growing business to be able to have someone you can lean on from a technology perspective.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Chris, I don't really have many other questions. It was kind of just wanted to get your thoughts, from our past working relationship and just, what you do day to day. But I can't thank you enough for being here.
Thank you.
Chris has always been a fantastic supporter and a friend of CTSI, and so he was very willing to join me today, or I don't know how willing, but I got him to come on here. Right. So that's it for this week. As a reminder, if there's anything that you guys want to learn about or hear about, please comment below. You can also email us at marketing@ctsinet.com with the subject line CTSI YouTube. If there's any kind of solution or technology that you just want to know more about and you'd like me to talk about, if there's a certain guest that you would like me to bring, please let me know. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. We will post these once a month, the first Tuesday of every month, so it'll have all of the information there for you. Next month, we'll be having another one of our guests on to talk about the IT industry. And other than that, that's really all I've got for this month. Thank you again, Chris, for being here.
You're welcome.
So I'm Julie Heinrich, and I am all about it.